Hey, I'm Sandra Derrick, and thank you so much for joining me today on Cooking and Crafts. I cannot wait to get started to show you all the fun things I have for you today. Really exciting topics. Before I get started, I would like to thank the wonderful folks here at Varnell. As you can see, I'm at the Varnell Senior Center, Community Center, and a big thanks to all of those folks for making it possible that I could be here in this lovely kitchen and facility. Remember to stop by and see them and talk to them if you haven't already seen this location, because it's fantastic. Let me tell you what we're going to do today, so I will not keep you in suspense any longer. We're going to talk about everybody's favorite, dusting, but I'm going to make it fun for you, so don't go away. The second thing I'm going to talk to you about is, do you have old t-shirts at home that you just don't know what to do with? Well, I'm going to show you what to do. And the last thing is, I'm going to bring back some memories from my childhood days. I'm going to make a dessert that my mom used to make, and it's very special to me. So join me and I'll share all those three wonderful topics with you. See you in just a little bit.
Hi, I'm Johnny Miller at your Western Sizzlin' in Ooltewah, Tennessee and Dalton, Georgia, and I can tell you that infomercials work. We've been advertising monthly to reach our customers for over 17 years now, and I know that you can reach your customers as well. You can depend on Elliott Media to take care of all your advertising needs, and remember, Western Sizzlin', we're your family steakhouse.
When you or your doctor orders any type of medical supplies, Home Health Care Rentals will be there for you. From oxygen, wheelchairs, walkers, and hospital beds to the simplest needs like crutches, hospital gowns, and even children's medical supplies. We make the process so easy by filing your insurance papers, giving instructions on how to use your equipment, and free delivery. We also offer 24-hour service 7 days a week to assist you. Our friendly staff is always there during your time of need. We're conveniently located next to the Bradley Wellness Center and across from Regency Park in Dalton. When you're in the market for a new or scratch and dent appliance, Langford Appliance is the place to come. We're a locally owned business for over 30 years serving this area. Don't let your dollars go out of town. When you buy your appliances from Langford, your money stays right here in Dalton. And you can always count on us for the best service after the sale. We have a large parts and service department for all your appliance repairs or plumbing and hot water needs. Come see us when you're in need of any appliance. That's Langford Appliance at 319 North Glenwood Avenue in Dalton.
Hey, I'm Sandra Derrick, and thank you again for joining me. I've got some wonderful things to show you, and dusting. My topic on this is dusting made fun. I know my family at home is going to laugh because they go, dusting made fun? Yeah, right. But you know, dusting is something that we all have to do. It gets there, the dust is there, and to me, when my dust is eliminated, when it's gone, I think my house is so much cleaner. I think I can breathe better, and it just feels better for me and for my family. And it's one of those things we have to do, so if we got to do it, we might as well make it fun. Did you know that most of the dust that comes into your house, it comes from your shoes? From the bottoms, from the top, and everything. If you can, at your home, where you walk in, if you have a mud room, if you don't, if you just walk right into the part of the house, try to have a place to put your shoes. It could be a container, it could just be a mat, because that way you will not track most of the dust and bring most of the dust into your house. So it's good to eliminate that, and you really have less to dust. You need to have something to dust with. It needs to be something soft so you won't scratch your furniture. It needs to be something that doesn't have lint on it. If it's a container, or rather a fabric that has lint on it, then you're just going to put more down than you're taking up. So just look around your house, and you can also buy some things nowadays. They have like towels that are with fibers that don't shed everywhere, and those would be okay too. I just tend to look around my house and see what I have. One good thing that I use is usually my husband's sock. Have you ever had those socks that you have no idea where the other one went to? Well, this is what I use. It protects my hand, it protects my lovely fingernails, my manicure, and I just put a sock on. What I have read is, don't spray your surface and then dust. You're actually supposed to just put a little bit of your product on your dusting. rag or your glove or your hand or whatever, and then dust. If you spray your item, your table, whatever, if you're like me, you tend to get too much on there. And not only does it cost you more money because you're running out of this stuff all the time, you've left that kind of junk or the too much polish on your furniture. And then you have to dust and wipe. And then if you don't get all the residue off, the polish off, that can attract even more dust. So go sparingly. A little tends to go a long way. And like I said, you can just spray on your rag, your sock, whatever you dust with, and that will be okay. If you have one of these dusting devices that's sort of magnetic, this is wonderful, especially for ceiling fans, for those places around the chairs that you can't get to. And these are fantastic. I would really say if you haven't invested in one, do it, and then you can clean it ever so often, and it will just last you for years and years and years. Something that we all have at our house that collects dust are stuffed animals and also pillows. You know, you tend to can't wash these things and you don't want to spray a polish on it, and how do you get the dust off those? Well, a good thing is take a pillowcase. And I usually just use an old one. Put your stuffed animal in there because those stuffed animals are special to your child, and then just toss this in the dryer. It will actually get it out from the tossing and turning, the heat, and it gets into the pillowcase. Also, if it's not a very delicate pillow, you can just throw this pillow in the dryer itself. Just watch it and don't leave it in there tons and tons of time because, you know, you don't need to dry it or toss it around for 40 minutes. Just 2, 3, 4 minutes at the most. If you've got buttons or you've got delicate things on it, by all means, you probably want to put it in the pillowcase before you put it in the dryer. But again, that tossing around, the shaking, it will get your dust out. And your pillows will feel better, they'll look better, they'll smell better, and you'll know that they're better. One other thing, have you ever had lampshades that have the little creases in it? A wonderful way to get that out is with a clean paintbrush. Make sure your paintbrush is clean. And you'll probably want to take this outside. Actually take your lampshade away from the lamp, take it outside in the yard, and just brush it down. And sometimes you'll be surprised at the dust that comes out that you couldn't even see or you didn't even really know that was in there. And that's a good thing to do, and it only takes you, then just turn your lampshade around and get the whole circumference of your lampshade. It'll only take you probably 5 minutes to get that clean. And then when you take it back in the house, you feel a lot better about that. You have no dust left. If you have animals in your house, one thing that you might want to do is get some kind of glove. This is just a vinyl glove, but you can do a rubber glove. We'll pretend that this is my sofa. If your cat or your dog has been on your sofa, you might want to wet this just a little bit. Just go to the sink and don't submerge it, but just especially get your fingertips a little damp. And then when you go over your upholstery, because you know you can't put your couch in the dryer. You can, however, vacuum it, but before you vacuum it, you can pick up all that animal hair and you will have tons already on your hand, and then you can vacuum the rest of it up with your vacuum cleaner with a little attachment that goes with it. But these are very inexpensive, and this is something that everybody in your family can do. One last thing are dryer sheets. If you're going to clean those mini blinds, those wooden blinds, dryer sheets are fantastic. You can put them or put this over the dryer, or let me start over. Put this over the blind and go back and forth, and it just collects that dust. Also, you can do this like if you're putting up a brand new blind, you're putting up a brand new mini blind. You can do this at the beginning when you put it up, and this has a little film on it, and this goes over your blinds, and it sort of protects it from collecting that dust in the first place. So not only does this help you clean your mini blinds, it helps you keep it from coming there in the first place. Dryer sheets are also good to clean your baseboards. You know, every so often I look at the baseboards at my house and I think, well, it's time to dust those things. And a paintbrush is also good, your clean paintbrush to go over it. But you can also fold this over and clean your baseboards with that too. It sort of collects it like a magnet. And then these are relatively inexpensive. You can buy these at the grocery store and you can get them everywhere. So go home. I told you dusting was going to be fun, and do these things at your house. And join me back in just a second and we'll talk about how to use our old t-shirts.
When the diagnosis is cancer, you want the best. Advanced surgical, radiation, and chemotherapy treatment, all available under one roof. A center large enough to treat advanced or complex cases. A dedicated team of physicians, nurses, and therapists treating each patient the way they would want to be treated. It's all here at Hamilton Regional Cancer Institute. Hamilton Medical Center. Your health is our mission.
Have you ever wondered why you cannot achieve a flat tummy like you had when you were a teenager? In spite of exercise, it seems like you're getting nowhere. It could be that you've had children and it's just impossible to achieve without having surgery. With a procedure called an abdominoplasty, we have specialized techniques that can repair the damage that has been done with the pregnancy or the weight loss. We can help you to achieve a flatter, tighter tummy like you had in your younger years.
We are this close.
We're this close.
We are this close
Of wanting
to making history.
This close to changing the world.
We are this close.
This close. This close to making sure no child suffers a crippling disease.
Ever again. This close.
We are this close to ending polio.
Ending polio.
All we need is you.
This close.
If we don't act now, we may lose this chance forever. Help Rotary make history at endpolionow.org.
Hey, I'm Sandra. Thank you for coming back and joining me on this second segment of Cooking and Crafts. Do you have those t-shirts around your house that you just don't wear anymore? You've outgrown them. Maybe you just don't wear them. They've got spots on them. And we tend to collect tons at my house. So I have found this really cute idea that you can recycle your shirt and you can still have a great product in the end. My shirts are very large, so sorry about that. Your shirts at home probably won't be the size of mine. But take your shirt. You can have a short sleeve shirt. You can have a long sleeve shirt. Doesn't really matter. What you want to do is turn it to what we say wrong side out. Whatever the right side is. And your shirt can have writing on it. It can have a plain shirt. It can be nothing on it. It doesn't really matter. You probably want to get you a space on the table, the kitchen counter, somewhere, because you're going to need to just sort of flatten this out. If you have straight pans, you can use them. If you don't have straight pans, you don't really need to use them. You can just sort of hold it together yourself. I have some straight pins at home, so what I do in my little cushion is I'm going to pin the bottom together. Now remember, I have turned it to where the wrong side is facing me. And what you're going to do is you're going to pin this. You want to have the edges together at the bottom, and you're going to pin it from here all the way down. If you're not a great sewer, don't panic, because there's really not great sewing skills involved. If you have a sewing machine at home, or you know someone that has a sewing machine, they can sew it or you can sew it at the bottom. It really doesn't matter if it's close to the edge, it's up here, doesn't really matter. It's not one of those things you have to be specific. You can see where your shirt's been turned up, so you might want to sew right along that. It will give you sort of a guide as to sew a straight line. So you'll start here and you'll finish over there. If you have matching thread, like on this one, if I had green thread, that would be great to use it. If you don't, just use whatever thread you have. If you don't have a sewing machine, hopefully you can get some thread. You can go to some local stores and you can buy a little sewing kit. Thread up your needle. And again, I had red threaded up in my other needles, so we'll just leave it. And I just sewed mine by hand at the very bottom. And it doesn't really matter what it looks like, because this is going to be turned and nobody's going to see it. So you're going to start here and go all the way across, and you're going to sew your shirt. Let me cut this off so we can turn it back. When you finish, please make sure that you get all your straight pins out, because if you don't, they'll stick you. And how I know is I've done that before. So what you're going to do is you're going to turn it back. And I really wouldn't suggest in a shirt that you wear that you turn your shirt through the neckline because it stretches it, but it doesn't really matter on this one. So on this one, we're going to pretend that the bottom is already sewn up, and you're going to flatten it out. You don't have to press it. You don't have to take an iron, and you don't have to press anything at the bottom because it's fine like it is. What we're going to do, and I'm not going to do this whole thing, I'll just do one of the sleeves. You're going to cut this out. Any kind of scissors will be fine. I like to come on this side of where my sleeve has been cut or sewn in. It really doesn't matter. And I'm lying my shirt down flat, and what I'm doing is I'm cutting through the front and the back at the same time. Number one, it saves me time, and number two, the front and back's going to look the same. And just cut down through the arm. Hey, you can save this and you can dust with it because t-shirts are really good. They're soft and they don't have any kind of fabric or little fuzz left. The last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out the neckline. And let me turn it like this where you can see it. And what you're going to do is you're just going to cut around the side. And I'm going to start at the shoulder. And again, we don't really care if it's perfect. You don't have to be a perfect sewer, cutter. And you're going to go all the way to the neck. Don't know if you want to dust with this or not. That's a little rough at the top. So what you're going to do is you're going to cut out this sleeve. You're going to cut out this sleeve. And while I'm at it and I like cutting, I'll just go ahead and cut this one out too. Make sure it's flat. This is why you probably need to spread your shirt on a flat surface. You can sort of hold it up in the air, but it's better to have it on a flat kitchen counter, on your table. So now I have cut out my neckline and I have cut my sleeves. Now I'm going to show you this red one. It's a different color. Sorry about that. And this is one that I've already done. My bottom is sewn up. And my sewing, if I got a little crooked, if I'm a little uneven, it really doesn't matter. But remember, I turned this what we call wrong side out. So when I see it, it's the inside of my shirt, and I've sewn it at the bottom. This one, I actually did use my red thread. I just happened to have some red thread at home, and I sewed this by hand. Even though I have a sewing machine, I just did this one night. I was sitting down watching TV. I have already cut the sleeves out of this, and I've already cut the neckline out. And folks, what this makes, you'll put your hand through this kind of shoulder or this shoulder, and this makes you a bag. You can leave this in your car. If you're going on vacation, you can put your pillows in here. You can put any kind of things, your shoes. And if you get it stained, if you get it dirty, you don't feel like you have a lot invested. You can throw this away. Or what we do at my house is we wash this. After we've been on a trip, we just throw this in the washing machine and then we just wash it with our other clothes. It's soft, breakable things tend to stay in here and they're cushioned just a little bit. And you have a wonderful bag you can take with you. If you don't put really heavy things in it, you can take it to the grocery store. So get your old t-shirts, start cutting, start sewing, and have a wonderful bag for your family. Join me for the last segment. We're going to make dessert. See you in just a few minutes.
Hi, I'm Johnny Miller at your Western Sizzlin' in Ooltewah, Tennessee and Dalton, Georgia, and I can tell you that infomercials work. We've been advertising monthly to reach our customers for over 17 years now, and I know that you can reach your customers as well. You can depend on Elliott Media to take care of all your advertising needs, and remember, Western Sizzlin', we're your family steakhouse.
When you or your doctor orders any type of medical supplies, Home Health Care Rentals will be there for you. From oxygen, wheelchairs, walkers, and hospital beds to the simplest needs like crutches, hospital gowns, and even children's medical supplies. We make the process so easy by filing your insurance papers, giving instructions on how to use your equipment, and free delivery. We also offer 24-hour service 7 days a week to assist you. Our friendly staff is always there during your time of need. We're conveniently located next to the Bradley Wellness Center and across from Regency Park in Dalton. When you're in the market for a new or scratch and dent appliance, Langford Appliance is the place to come. We're a locally owned business for over 30 years serving this area. Don't let your dollars go out of town. When you buy your appliances from Langford, your money stays right here in Dalton. And you can always count on us for the best service after the sale. We have a large parts and service department for all your appliance repairs or plumbing and hot water needs. Come see us when you're in need of any appliance. That's Langford Appliance at 319 North Glenwood Avenue in Dalton.
At Hamilton Medical Center, your health is our mission. It's why everything we do is with you in mind. It's why our associates and physicians are constantly advancing their skills with education and training. It's why we're reaching out into the communities we serve to improve the health of all residents. It's why we're ranked in the top 3% of all hospitals in the U.S. for overall hospital care, based on independent research conducted by CareChecks, a division of Comparian. Hamilton Medical Center. Your health is our mission.
Have you ever heard the term, your eyes are your expressions, the windows to your soul? But when your eyelids look tired and they start to sag, it will make you look much older than you actually are. There is a simple surgical procedure called a blepharoplasty or eyelid tuck, which can help to rejuvenate and redefine the contours around your eyelids. It will even improve your fields of vision, and a portion may even be covered by insurance. We can help redefine how others see you.
Hey, I'm Sandra again, and welcome to our last segment, which is cooking, and I think you're really going to enjoy this. This is something that my mother made. When I would come home off the bus, I rode the bus home every day after school, and I would walk in our house, and she would have this already started because my mom worked at home. And I could smell this, and it still brings back great memories to me. If I think about it right now, and I sort of I can smell this dessert. This is a chocolate bread pudding. Very simple to make, and I make it now for my family. I'm going to do a little mini version. I've got a full one made, but I'm going to make a little mini version for time. I've gotten a container, and I put a cup of milk in it, and you take old biscuits. They can be canned biscuits, they can be homemade biscuits, they can be frozen biscuits, which I use quite a bit at my house nowadays. Any kind of biscuits, we don't care what they look like. I wouldn't advise the garlic ones that you get sometimes at restaurants, but just the regular old southern kind of biscuit. And what you want to do, and I use a cup of milk, and then I put in about 5 or 6 biscuits. And I like to let this soak for probably 15-20 minutes. What happens is the bread just absorbs the milk and it gets really, really soft. Bread pudding is a really old dessert because people just use what they had left over. To this, I'm going to add some cocoa. Cocoa is not sweet, and a little bit will go a long way, not only for the color, but also for the chocolate flavor. You're going to add a tablespoon of cocoa. And I tend to like to mix as I go. Sometimes it's just easier to mix everything up. So I've got in my milk, I've got in my biscuits, and then now I have my cocoa. I'm going to put 1 whole egg in. I would probably advise you that when you use any eggs for cooking, don't crack it and put it in your food that you've already started. One time I got a rotten egg, and you know you have a rotten egg because it smells terrible. But sometimes you get eggshells in it, and if you're like me, that one time you got that rotten egg, you have to throw all this away and you have to start over. So I would advise you to get a little container and put your eggshell in there. Be careful about eggs because they can carry salmonella. That's why I don't advise you to eat a raw egg. Make sure that your egg products and any eggs that you do prepare, they're cooked. wash your hands, wash the counter before you prepare a salad or something that you're going to eat and not cook. So, I have my cocoa, I have my sugar, I have my milk, I have my egg, and we're going to add just about a teaspoon of vanilla. Again, I'm going to try to measure it over here because sometimes I miss. Sometimes it runs over, and I don't want to have a lot of extra vanilla in here because the vanilla is like the cocoa. It's not sweet in itself. It's sweet in proportion to how much sugar you put in it. So we don't want this to be so bitter nobody can eat it. And you need just a little bit of butter. I tend to use the stick kind. You can use the squeezed margarine. And I'm mixing it up. And I like to do with a fork. And I'm going to put in a half a cup of sugar. This is just granulated sugar, and I'm going to stir everything up. So, I have my cocoa, I have my milk, I have my sugar, I have my egg, and I have my vanilla. And by the way, that was 2 tablespoons of margarine that I put in. Now, the good thing about this is you mix it up in the pan or you cook it in the pan that you've mixed it up in. So we're going to pretend that we're going to slide this in the oven, and we're going to cook this in a 350 degree preheated oven. It'll take about 20 minutes. And this is what your final product looks like when you're finished. When it comes out of the oven, it's hot, it's steaming, it's piping, and it's just doggone delicious. And you can smell that aroma. Too bad that we don't have smell-o-vision where you can taste it. And I just tend to like to cut mine up just a little bit. And I usually like to eat tons of this. And my mother, she would sometimes put butter on it, and the butter would melt on the hot pudding. A little thing that I've done a touch at home is I like to put just a little bit of whipped cream on mine. And no matter what season it is, this is a great dessert. It brings back a lot of good memories for me. And it's very simple to make. And like I said, you can stir it up and cook it in the same pan, pop it in the oven, and you can start some good memories for your family. So make some chocolate pudding. This is a great bread pudding, and I really think you'll enjoy it. And thank you for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed some of the things that we've talked about. I hope you'll actually try these at home and see how simple and see how easy they are to make. And you can't go wrong with any of the things that I've done because they're so simple and easy. And thank you so much for joining me. I hope you've learned some things, and I will see you next time.
To advertise your business on TV, contact Elliott Media at 706-529-4237.